Hello, and thank y'all for joining us here for our final game, not only of the day, but of the entire weekend here for the first week of official play in the LCS regular season. Our last game will feature 100 Thieves and Dignitas going up against one another. And 100 Thieves are not quite showing the speed and coordination that we've come to expect after what we saw in Lock-In.
No, I mean, Lock-In, they were just blasting through teams at a lot of those games. They were looking extremely coordinated. They were playing very, very fast. But so far in the Spring Split, they have been only pulling out these wins by really the skin of their teeth. You can see the coordination is not always on point there. Someday it's not an empowered W, it is just the regular stun. The seismic shove was not actually layered over top of that for Finn. And they've played back-to-back, I want to say 45-plus minute games, the longest games of anyone really by far. So it has been a very different look for 100 Thieves. I think they can be very grateful that they are 2-0, but we want to see them getting back to how they were looking in Lock-In, because we have high expectations of this team, especially given that 4 out of the 5 players stayed the same.
And then the one that you add is Someday, right? Mm-hmm. You have 4 out of 5 of the guys stay together from working together in the past, and then you add one of the best top laners in the league. So
the difference, should be Lock-In bracket to Spring Week 1.
Yeah, 18 minutes. That's well, how many commercials and stuff these days? That's an entire episode of a TV show longer to end the game between Lock-In bracket and Spring Week number 1. So 100 Thieves would love to fix that up a little bit and get the gameplay back a little bit more clean.
They're trying to shave some minutes off that time. But on the other side, Dignitas, some positives, some negatives. I do think that Dardoch has still individually been great. And I like the creative attempt that Dignitas did have yesterday in their draft. But I did not like the draft order. That was my main complaint, was the fact that they actually blind pick both their solos first round on the red side. So you're going up against TL, and you just gave 2 of the best solo laners in the whole league free counterpick, right? It's not as though Blitz or Mundo were going to be banned out, and to me, hiding them didn't really accomplish anything anyway. So I want to see a little bit more thought in the order of the picks, even if I like the picks themselves, even if I like that creativity. So we'll see if Dignitas can clean that up, because I do think if you're giving up all lanes being pushed in, and if you have 3 losing lanes, you can't expect your jungler who is playing so well to carry that game. We all know you need the pushing lanes for your jungler to have agency on the map, to not be warded out and invaded upon. So Dardoch, we want to see them building around him, supporting him, because to me, he's been their clear best player.
Okay, let's see how the bans will shape out then, as we've already got 2 mid lane bans from each side here. It's Azir and Twisted Fate banned out. Udyr and Galio also going to be banned away. Udyr is one of those champions that, while his ban rate isn't super high in the league here just yet, his presence is pretty far up there. So this time around, we will not get to see him on the Rift. Pantheon continues to be banned out pretty consistently, and there's 1 left to go here for Dignitas before we get to the picks.
So another cool thing to point out is Dardoch has actually not played any champion twice so far. He has actually been very flexible. We've seen Karthus, Taliyah, Nidalee, Lilia, Udyr, Mundo, right? He has been mixing it up, which I think has been very fun to see. Taliyah left open. That feels like an easy grab here. Quick 1-2 for Dignitas as well. Same for Kai'Sa, but that feels like it's a snap Renekton now for 100 Thieves. I have to think you're taking Renekton when you have Taliyah. Renekton's left open. Someday is a very strong laner and a really good Renekton player at that. So with it already being his most played by far, you know, he has 6 Renekton games. He's 5-1 on it. This split plus Lock-In, whatever you want to call that, this year. So I think that makes so much sense for them to go towards. Yes, you are blinding it, but counterpick is always going to be there on red side for Fake God anyway, so not really much to worry about.
Right.
And I really like these first couple picks here, 400 Thieves. We'll see if they actually want to go for the set. Wouldn't surprise me. It's one of Huhi's most popular picks down in the bot lane. He did bring out the Leona, I want to say for the first time. It was yesterday, but set is one of his most played over the last year or 2. He does have 2 plays on it already this split. It has been banned against them this split as well. So I think we're going to get a Huhi support, but of course there is the possibility of it going mid lane to Damonte.
True. They already know what the enemy mid laner is in the Syndra, because that was one of those snap locks from Dignitas there as soon as they got their chance to pick, and now they will decide to go for the Gragas here as well.
So Gragas probably going to be the answer in the top lane, you would assume. Of course, you always have to consider, could it be flexed? Yes, but we're not really going to take that too much into consideration because tank Gragas is so popular these days. We have seen Fake God already play it. I think it was also yesterday that he did bring it out in that Mundo game. I want to say that was the same game that he brought that out. Of course, you can go AP also, but tank is feeling like it is the more standard, especially in these melee versus melee matchups. A lot of people are really liking just going towards the grasp, having the additional tankiness of that Sunfire, your W being popped. It makes you pretty hard to bully. You have lots of good AoE wave clear, so it's a pretty comfortable lane, and I think it makes sense for Fake God when you are going up against such a monster laner in Someday, and you're going up against not just him, but Renekton into Leah. So it's not just going to be a 1v1. It's pretty much guaranteed that Closer's going to be up there.
It's one thing to play against a dude who's really good at the game. Okay. You're talking about Dardoch's champ pool, my friend. Well, welcome to the deep end. We got some Rango coming out here today.
Let's go. Who cares about the Senna TK? We got Rengar. Another unique pick here for Dardoch. He has still not picked any champion twice, and that was the insta-lock. There was no hesitation on that. Clearly they wanted it. This is a go comp right here. We got Gragas, Rengar, Blitzcrank, Kai'Sa to dive in. We have the Syndra for the damage over top, and they are looking to pull off a very spicy draft here on the side of Dignitas. I am excited to see if they can make it work. I have not been seeing really any Rengar anywhere. Going to be interested to see if he goes more for the Bruisery build. I'm expecting things more like the Goredrinker Sterix as opposed to the Duskblade, but that would be really exciting if we got it. Because there are some squishy members over on the other side, but that being said, Tahm Kench is so anti-fun for champions like Rengar. You see that light over your head, you know that Rengar is ulting towards you, and he just gobbles him up. And there's not a lot you can do about that. He also taking the exhaust, so I like the response. Senna also with the possibility of helping out for those cross-map plays, also enabling dives even further, so the scary lane for Fake God just got that much more frightening as Senna post 6 can help with those dives. Now you don't even just have the point and click stun into seismic shove, they can be tanking up the tower with the Senna ultimate.
And I also like the Blitzcrank when the enemy team has Tahm Kench, because, all right, hear me out. Tahm Kench is zero fun for everyone, including the guy playing Tahm Kench, because you're just somebody else's third summoner spell. But he's point blank range, right? He just has to stand next to the guy to gobble him up and keep him safe. Blitzcrank removes either the guy from Tahm Kench or Tahm Kench from the guy. So now you stop Tahm Kench from ruining everyone else's fun, and Blitzcrank is the savior of enjoying League of Legends.
I see. He separates the gobbler from the gobblee.
Yes, and when the gobbles aren't lined up, everything's great, because Dignitas will now have huge playmaking potential despite Tahm Kench's ability to deny it.
You love to see it. Also,
this is the true 5-head.
The ultimate removes the gray health. It deletes shields, which is always really nice against Senna TK. You can erase the ultimate shield from Senna. You can erase the W shield from Set, which he is very reliant on, especially these mid lane sets who are often trying to get the fully charged passive and then go for that huge W. If they get low on health and then go for the W and you just ult that off immediately, you can kill them off very, very quickly. It can add for some surprising burst. It also allows you to target the Tahm Kench in lane at times, right? If you hook in that Tahm Kench, normally it's not a viable target because he gets that second set of HP essentially with the gray health. You can ult that off as well to help you go for the kills. So I think that Afro, for a lot of reasons, has a pretty cool pick here. But Blitzcrank is always so execution based. It can look amazing. It can look absolutely worthless.
Yeah, it can hit both sides of that spectrum pretty quickly, my friend. So only time will tell us how that shakes out. With the Blitzcrank pick down here in the bottom lane, we will have eyes on him all game long. Not only is he a rarer pick, but man, when Blitzcrank pops off, it's one of the best moments in League of Legends. When you hit that big pull, you can win a team fight off the back of it. Just having that accuracy there. And Afromu, as one of the guys who's been playing League of Legends for so long, one of the veterans of the LCS, I'm hoping we get to see some of those God hand plays from him in this game.
Yeah, really cool things going on in the draft. You know, we didn't even touch on the fact that Set did get flexed to mid. And I don't know if it was going to be Set bot or if it was always going to be TK, but you know, you can give them the credit for potentially flexing that once they had seen that it was a Rengar to be able to get Tahm Kench in the comp, which would be a smart adaptation. So pretty clever things going on both sides. It is also fasting Senna. That's why you see the Doran's ring there for the Tahm Kench, just looking to be able to have a little bit of additional mana here to be able to help push that wave out, and not really too worried about the harassment. It's generally only the all-in that is a threat against, you know, Blitzcrank and Kai'Sa. They're not really the kind of champions that whittle you down with poke, so not worried about grabbing that Doran shield in the early lane.
And as we move forward in this game, we'll try to keep y'all updated here on what the stacks are coming out here for FBI. We all know that Senna can become an incredible late-game threat provided she has enough range, so it's up to FBI to get the souls to make it happen. Now, Closer's going for the full jungle clear here in this game, but that means he is second into the river there in the top side, which gives Dardoch Scuttle Crab priority. He will already secure the top side crab for himself, walking back through mid. He doesn't even care that he gives away his position to his opponents. He'll stack up 1 Q there on the Savagery to make sure he has the full Fury, and march down here to Scuttle Crab number 2. And 2 crab in the enemy jungler feels great.
Really does. And Rengar has such incredible dueling at these early levels, especially if you're fighting him in the river. He gets access to that pixel brush very often, and if he has an empowered ability ready, it is really, really tough to scrap with him, especially on a squishy champion like Closer. You'll also note Closer does not have phase rush, so if Rengar gets on top of him, it's not going to be nearly as easy to escape, but he will have additional burst there with the Dark Harvest, so we'll see how that does work out. And early CDR boots, just straight rush to CDR boots here for Dardoch. So wants that additional cooldown reduction, wants the movement speed to be able to get out on the map, as Someday may just kill Fake God.
Someday is going in, man. Someday Renekton is a force to be reckoned with. He doesn't quite have the damage to finish off the kill, but man, he will be running this lane start to finish unless something crazy happens.
Yeah, really nice stuff there from Someday, getting a very extended trade. Conqueror gets stacked. When you're playing these Grasp champions into the Conqueror, you really want those really quick trades. You know, you just want to bomb them on the head, have the Grasp ready to go, get a quick trade, get out of there. And Someday's looking for the extended fights here, as we see Closer showing up mid, but is spotted, and Damonte is very low, so can't really commit to this play.
Right. Damonte at 300 HP. Yes, you're set. Yes, you have a shield, but considering the grit bar was almost empty, that shield would not have been too fearsome here just yet. So Dignitas continuing to just try to farm it up here a little bit early on, but it is 100 Thieves grabbing themselves a 400 gold lead just thanks to their farming being better than their opponents. Of course, the jungle is the difference there for Dignitas doing that. But down in bottom lane, hey man, Tahm Kench is farming the most.
Yeah, he's actually doing really well. And generally speaking, when you do play these types of lanes, you can often fall behind in the actual farm. And FBI, gobbled out of the air.
Oh, that was a good gobble.
Top quality gobble right there.
That was so close, man. I swear the Blitzcrank fist was just right next to him. It looked like it connected, but he went invulnerable at just the right time. Untargetable, excuse me. It's not true invulnerability.
What would be
either
more
way
terrifying, you know? Like getting hit by, there's a big robot fist flying in the air, but then you get eaten by a giant catfish to save you? Like, is that even the kind of save that you really want, you know? Are you even down for that?
No matter what happens, you're going to therapy the next day for that, bro. And the guy there ain't even going to believe you. He's going to tell you, all right, thanks for coming here, but get off my couch. I ain't listening to this no more. This is a wild experience down here in bottom lane.
You're telling me a robot was trying to hook you in and a catfish jumped up and ate you? All right, I've had enough.
I've heard enough. You're not taking this seriously. Come back when you're ready to commit to true change. Dardoch's grabbing his 3rd Scuttle Crab of the game. Closers over the wall here in the Drake Pit, and 100 Thieves coming in to collapse. Dardoch will be denied the crab that time around. Yes, a little soul spawns, but Senna's nowhere nearby, so that one just evaporates into the river. And 100 Thieves, man, 1,000 gold lead, 7 minutes into the game with no kills. Feels good.
Feels really good, and that's just the power of their laning. You can see Someday has created a pretty significant advantage up on that top side. The wave is pushing towards Fake God, so we'll see how much that does even out. But being this far ahead with the fasting Senna, and all of that farm is going to be lost by Neo, and they're setting up a dive now potentially on Fake God.
Okay, they got to do this one right. Damonte's going to tank it immediately. You love to see Set drawing the turret aggro, going in for the big punch. Haymaker comes out, but Fake God doesn't get hit by it. He continues trying to clear away some of the minions. Someday's just waiting on cooldowns. He'll be tanking it up here next. Lots of flashes coming out, but a nice big body slam makes it a 1-for-1. Well played from Fake God.
Yeah, credit to Fake God. That was really nice to be able to survive. Not only did he get out 3 summoners from his opponents, he actually traded a kill. So sure, you do lose a lot of minions there, And 100 Thieves might be okay with the play, but that is about the most you can ask for from your top laner when he gets set up on like that. I think Fake God played this very intelligently. The early play from 100 Thieves was good. You can see somebody waiting, not pulling aggro. Then they have the pull in to the stun, the chain CC there. But the disengage was perfect from Fake God, dropping the ultimate to knock them opposite ways. Also, sidestep back towards the turret to avoid the W from Damonte. Then flashes away as they flash follow, immediate body slam from Fake God. The little bit of CC, all he needed to trade a kill there. Really well played.
Yeah, like to see that coming out of Fake God here, but Dardoch is now heading towards the top side of the map. Doesn't have a ton of HP to work with here on this Rengar. Will have a smite available in a moment if he wants to use that as a health bonus here on the Krugs, but looks like he should just be able to clear this out and then get himself back to base. Still no kill participation for him. Oh!
Close your eyes.
I didn't see nothing. I was looking the other way. Man, this is a cool water bottle I have. I definitely wasn't looking at what happened in top lane there. Didn't see anything.
Somebody dropped the scoreboard quick.
Yep, it's okay. It's okay. It's a fast recall.
It's all part of his route, really, you know? You do a full bot side clear, you recall, you get lucidity, you get back out on the map, clear bottom to top, execute to the Krugs, Iron Spike
back
whip.
To base. Now you've got your Iron Spike whip. You're good to go. Yeah. You're ready to get right back out on the map C, and now the bottom side crab is spawning again, so he's got to get back down to that more quickly. But it looks like Huhi and FBI are just saying, nope, we're going to take this ourselves. Tom Kench with the Devour, spitting the thing back towards where they came from. Afromu getting locked down now. Level 6 versus level 5 here on the supports. Huhi's under some pressure. Dardoch's coming in, flash away from the Tom Kench, goes into the shield here with a thick skin, stays alive. FBI's now in a bad spot. He's gobbled up to safety, and 100 Thieves stays alive in the 2v3.
Really well played. It does cost them a couple summoners, but they traded evenly on the summoners because Afro Flash ignited, there's the heal from Neo, and they got the ultimate from Dardoch while they're making a successful play on top side. The gold lead is getting out of control already, and Fake God may just lose this tower here straight up. Looks like he will, as there's no one coming up to support him, so they're going to lose both towers up on that top side. Should be about a 4,000 gold lead at 10 minutes. That is
holy
disgusting.
Cow. 4,500 closer to 18-6 to 14-2 in a 1-to-1 game. Good Lord, man. 100 Thieves. We said we wanted to see faster gameplay. Well, here you go.
I mean, the early game, it's working for them, right? And it hasn't been the last couple days, so they can be feeling really good about how things are going thus far. And it really hurts when you're playing these ulti-based junglers. You know it as a Skarner main, when you're playing Nocturne, when you're playing Rengar, Skarner, these types of champions, and you do not get a kill with your first ult. It hurts because you are spending so much working towards this moment that is supposed to be that gold injection for you, where you get the kill and then you can go down in the downtime and farm it up and just kind of keep that gold income coming. But unfortunately for them, they cannot get the kill. He was 6, Afro was not 6. You know, he didn't have the ability to remove that gray health, so much value was gained with that. And now, Closer moving down towards this bot side. Dardoch is ghosting them, but it's going to be tough to actually grab any kills because they're starting to get deep wards now, which can track this Rengar, and he's going to be spotted on this downside.
Yup, Dardoch, he's got the ulti ready to go again, man, but he's got to find the angle. He's down 17 CS.
And the levels.
You can see the Kaisa is 24 CS behind the Tom Kench here in the bottom lane. Up there in the top side is a 30 CS lead for Somedays Renekton. The only place in the game that Dignitas has their player ahead of his counterpart in terms of farming is in the mid lane, which you would expect for a ranged champion against Set early on in the laning phase.
I mean, Dardoch is level 7, right? That's really problematic. No matter who you want to call the support in the 100 Thieves bot lane, he's the same level as both of them, right? Like, he is very far behind in the experience department. Closer has not really been ganking. He did put a bit of pressure on top side. He grabbed the Herald, but he's been power farming, and as a result, he is up in levels. And Rengar is one of these champions that you kind of have to hit a certain threshold where you can dive in and threaten 100-0 play with your combo, really be able to put out a tremendous amount of damage, unless you're going for, you know, this crazy SOFM tank style where you're just trying to be more disruptive. But we'll see if Dardoch can really get anything done, because the more control you lose on the map, there's less angles for you to ult from, there's less places to hide.
Ooh, nice pull from Afromu onto Huhi there. Ends up tanking a little bit of damage by putting an auto attack onto Afromu. Probably didn't want to commit all the way to that, but then again, he has the Iceborne Gauntlet, so the fire would have drawn the turret aggro anyway. But nice pull, makes him lose a little bit of HP. Of course, Senna will be able to recover that a bit for him as Saligo's trying to trade with Diamante, but Closer is coming in. Ooh, seismic shove. Nice step away there from Saligo, making sure that he continues getting distance the entire time, never stops to try to turn around or cast a spell. Maximum distance for maximum value. He avoids the gank.
Yep, proccing that phase rush, retreating, nice sidestep, as you say, is able to stay alive, but they're just bleeding towers. They lost their bottom lane tower. They've already lost 2 on top side. They've lost both the objectives on the map. They didn't get Dragon or Herald. So Dardoch just trying to farm it up here, trying to wait to see if he can get some sort of an angle to pull off an ultimate play. And I think that is really going to be what it comes down to. If they can't start getting value with these Rengar ultimates, they are going to get bled out of this game, because the further you get behind, the less Blitzcrank and Rengar do. Those two champions, almost more than any other in the game, are so reliant on having dark pockets of vision on the map. If you don't know where a Blitzcrank is, the map is terrifying. If he is penned into his base, if he is pushed in under a tower and you got eyes on him, the hook really isn't that scary, and it's the same principle here for Rengar.
Yeah. It's the difference between a Gundam and a Rock'em Sock'em robot. And right now, Aphromu's looking a lot like Rock'em Sock'em with how far back Dignitas is stuck in their own territory. You can see the map. Dignitas wards only exist on the Dignitas side, not even pushed up into the river here yet. You can see one on the corner on the entrance into the river there in the top side, but that's the furthest forward ward placed down by the Dignitas team. Thank you so much, observers, for that one. That's the most forward ward right there. Everything else on the other side of the map in the river itself, it's all just blacked out. And that means that Dignitas is very much not in control of this game of League of Legends. You got the Drake spawning here in about 25 seconds, and it's 100 Thieves clearing out the vision and taking control over the area.
Yep, pushing out bot lane here. They're going to get control of mid lane as well. So 100 Thieves have the setup. Someday has already roamed towards mid lane. Fake God's up on the top side still. And Neo is coming out of base, so don't think there's going to be much of an answer to this Dragon. It should just be 100 Thieves for free based on the positioning that Dignitas do have right now. It looks like the plan is just scale. But the problem with that is that this is not a stagnated gold state, right? This is not an even game or even a couple thousand gold lead that isn't changing. 100 Thieves are pushing it further and further and further. They're taking over more territory from their opponents. And that's why at 15 minutes, it's 5.6K. This is an enormous gold lead that they have accrued for themselves very early on. And they are looking to go up towards top, grab another quick Herald here, and then they can crack the last outer on the map, which is mid lane.
Yeah, why not just go for the Herald? Dignitas can't contest much of anything right now. Let me pose it this way. What is the catalyst, Azael, for Dignitas to decide that they want to try to make some sort of a play? Are they just holding back and waiting for a mistake from 100 Thieves? Or if there is a play to make, if we're going to see one of these Rengar ultis you're talking about that must be successful, what's the angle to use them? Because Dignitas is not doing anything.
Yeah, I think at this point, they're saying, all right, let's at least complete our first items, right? You look over at the other side, everyone has their mythic. No one on Dignitas has their first item completed yet. So I think if you've waited this long, you must wait until you at least have that one item completed. And then you kind of have to use that window where your opponents still have more gold than you, but at least they're on one in pieces. They're not on 2 full items, right? So the discrepancy isn't as large. And I think as these start to come through, we may see Dignitas looking for some sort of a play. But it's going to be tough because you're just losing full control. Herald's drop mid, you're going to lose that as another pocket of safety, which will allow 100 Thieves to push vision even further forward. And they may just at this point be depending on some sort of a hook, but Dardoch is going to pop the ulti and they're going to look.
Dardoch trying to tank it, or excuse me, Diamante trying to tank it. I got him crisscrossed there a little bit.
Fake God.
But it's Fake God from the side, going for the cast, going to everybody here, and a nice play coming out from Dignitas, looking to finish things off. But it's Fake God dying off first. A beautiful turnaround coming out from 100 Thieves. Dig did not have the damage to make up for the fact that they were getting the better initiation. It's Closer grabbing a third one. The fight looked good for Dig, but they could not seal the deal, and 100 Thieves gets it done.
That Tahm Kench is so tanky at this point in the game. He is not a support Tahm Kench. He's got the full item already completed, the great health value, and as Neo ulted forward to try to finish him off, immediate exhaust, and guess who's waiting in the brush? It is Someday. Dignitas had to go for a play, and let's be honest, this play needed to work for them to have a chance in the game. The hook gets flashed by Diamante. Dardoch bides his time, lets that health tick down, then goes in, lands the root. They knock back a low-value target, to be honest, here in Hui. The Senna ultimate barely coming across, then a heal comes out. Hui was so low on HP there, but they cannot finish him off, and Neo going in for it, getting taken down. Dardoch going in for it, getting taken down. When you cannot even kill off that Tahm Kench, you know, that's not even the big prize that you would be trying to hope for, and they committed everything, got nothing, lost the turret, lost the kills, and this game is now out of control, down more than 7,000 gold.
Yeah, the gold lead is 7,500, man. Almost 8 at 18 minutes into the game. Baron is not an option for another 2 minutes because we're just not far enough into the match just yet. 100 Thieves, despite the fact that they put themselves in a spot where Dig was able to get a good engage, their lead is just so incredible at this point. They can do that. They can say, all right, if the only way Dignitas is going to fight us is if they get a really good initiation, just give it to them. Let's PvP.
Yeah, I mean, they're ready to go. Damonte is this full tank set. He's going for the move speed. He's got the moon pants. He's got his go button, and they're going to look for a pick on him, but he's so tanky. We'll see if they can even finish him off.
TP's coming in. Damonte trying to turn the fight right back around. He's in the middle of 5 with a haymaker coming down. No way! There is no way Damonte is walking away from that one, but he is. 1 for 1 as top laners are traded back and forth. Dignitas health bars are all in shambles, and that means 100 Thieves is taking the tier 2.
Damonte slinking away there with a sliver of health. And 100 Thieves, as you say, the big prize is taken afterwards. They get the kill trade, but they take the tower. They have full position on the dragon and should be able to grab that for themselves here once again. Damonte knowing even if he goes down there, he can set up the fight for his carries to come in, clean it up, and that's exactly what he was able to get done. So here it is one more time. The ulti's committed, a great cast knocking him in. The TP came in quick, and then he just goes forward, clapping multiple members together here. FBI, look at that, barely sidestepping the hook from Afro. That could have changed the fight. The thumbs up coming out from Damonte as he walks away with almost no health. And 100 Thieves now looking to set up around this Baron. They do have the Kraken Slayer on the, not on the Kai'Sa, excuse me, on the Senna. They're going for that Kraken Slayer Rageblade build. It is pretty strong. You do actually turn all your crit into bonus on-hit damage. So because Senna is getting that through your souls, you're getting a lot of bonus on-hit damage on that Rageblade proc. You're also getting the additional attack speed with every item completed from the Kraken Slayer passive, which really helps with that as well. You're getting a lot more of those hits out. So it does turn you into more of a consistent DPS than you would be used to if you've only really seen the lethality Senna builds.
Well, someday we'll continue applying pressure to the bottom side as Damonte's going to face check. He's against Neo and Afromu. Remember, we're looking for the Blitzcrank ulti on the... Nope, we're not. We're looking for Damonte to run away back towards the tier 1 turret. They weren't able to get themselves the opportunity to pop the shield there with the ulti from the Blitzcrank, and that means Neo should get a chance to take down this tier 1, give Dignitas some much-needed gold.
Hey, it's something. They're going to lose that dragon on the bottom side, but at the very least they do get Damonte off that top lane turret. They take that. They get that gold in the pockets of Neo. Some much-needed gold on their carry. He is going to be so critical for them if they're going to have any chance of actually coming back in this game here. You can see almost 100 stacks for Senna, though. That is one of the big advantages of the fasting Senna. Everyone references the fact that, you know, you get more souls if you're not killing the minions, but I think one of the things that's actually overlooked a lot with fasting Senna is the fact that you have so much free time to actually just farm souls off of your opponents because you don't have to farm, right? You don't actually have to pay attention to CSing. So you just sit there, and if Kai'Sa ever steps forward to actually CS a minion, auto Q, you get a free soul. Same thing with Blitzcrank, and you're able to really escalate how fast you can hit these 20 soul marks and extend your range when you're playing that style.
And 100 Thieves is just loving how this game is going so far. But again, back to what we were talking about in Champ Select, this is an 8,500 gold lead at 22 minutes, just a couple seconds shy of that here into the game. So what I want to see from 100 Thieves is not just to win this game. It's the expectation that you win the game with the current state of things. I want to see them wrap this game up quickly and cleanly, as opposed to having this be another one of those 42-minute, just draw it out all the way to the end of time type of matches.
Exactly. You need to be able to close out these games. That is the improvement that they are looking for. As you say, it is almost a preconceived notion. It is expected that they win it So it's how you win it at this point. Setting up around the Baron is a good way to do it. They have a very safe Baron take because you have this pure tank, both with a Tahm Kench and with a set. You have pretty solid turn. Can look for that engage. You have the sustain as well as pretty high damage from the Senna. The Q healing coming through too. So there's not a lot of risk to starting up the Baron, and that's why I like them being around here. You don't want to start it up and just 50-50 it. You want to start it up and deny vision and draw in your opponents and then use that to get a fight.
I like what we're seeing from Aphromoo here, trying to play around some of those dark pockets they have, like you were talking about, making sure he's sitting inside the Wraith camp. As Damonte goes to kill the ward, Aphromoo does not hit the pull.
So fast.
That means that 100 Thieves feels safe pushing up further here, setting down some more vision. As soon as they see that that Blitzcrank pull is on cooldown, they know that they've got a few seconds to just move up here without the worry.
Exactly. They can just continue to push forward. Even if Damonte gets hooked there, though, you probably need at least 3 people to realistically kill him off with any sort of reliability because he is so incredibly tanky. He has the flash available here. And they are really just kind of closing in on Dignitas now from all angles. Fake God has a potential flank angle here, though, so we may see Dignitas go.
Well, Aphromoo just lost half his HP trying to go in on that angle, and it looks like 100 Thieves are perfectly content. Another ram the thumbs up coming out saying, all right, guys, good try. And look at the farm in the jungle. Closer is taking the wolves, he's taking the blue, and as soon as he takes that blue, wait for it, just a second here.
Oh, I'm waiting.
36, there it is. 100 CS above for Closer. When is the last time you saw a 4-level difference in the jungle?
Solo queue, playing with you.
In the good way, right?
Yes, of course, yes. You don't really see it much in pro play, man. It is very true. Flame Horizon in the jungle. You know, the Rengar pick, it's cool, but it's definitely not working out here for Dardoch. Closer has shown the reliability of the Taliyah farm, powering through these camps the entire game. He's got the most farm on the map. It's pretty insane to see that he is above 10 CS per minute as a jungler. I mean, I think a lot of this is being gifted to him from Damonte, who's like, well, I already got my go fast items, so have at it.
Yeah, my job's to run at them real quickly. You do the damage, bud. I will happily throw up some emotes after we pentakill them. So easy stuff there for this squad working together. Another item coming up. There's your Rage Blade. Okay, so now the 1-2 punch of the Kraken Slayer and the Rage Blade is done, and that consistent DPS threat you were telling us about is ready and raring to go, my friend. Things just keep getting worse and worse and worse for Dignitas. Baron is alive on the map, and I would love to see 100 Thieves start to play towards that.
Yeah, every single one of them has 2 items plus now. I think there's really no reason to keep delaying this game. You want to force some sort of conflict. Any type of fight, you should win. Really doesn't matter what Dignitas goes for at this point. I just can't see a realistic way for them to win a fight unless it's, you know, absolutely going everything wrong for 100 Thieves. So I want to see them push the pace here, force some point of conflict, try to close out this game.
All right, tier 2 turret still dropping. One more shot might be able to kill it off. They just let the minions do the work. And that is all 6 structures that stand outside of the base walls removed now by 100 Thieves. Dignitas' base is the only bastion they have left here on Summoner's Rift. Aphromoo goes for a pull but will not find it. Now you got Damonte initiating here onto Fake God, who throws out a cast, but he's still stuck in the middle of everybody. Someday with a flash forward, looking to chase him down. Fake God is gone. Who he's taking the kill credit on that one. Closer with a very nice stasis to avoid the damage and CC coming out from Saligo. 100 Thieves have found themselves 1 kill, but a nice pull coming out from Aphromoo could put Damonte here in a really bad spot. Closer gets the kill onto Neo. Yes, Damonte is dead because of the Blitzcrank ulti, but Closer goes over the wall chasing after Dardoch. Rengar's having a bad time here with a 1v1 against Taliyah. FBI on a killing spree as Saligo hits the floor, and it's a 1 for 400 Thieves. Slaughter that fight.
When the Taliyah is flashing on the Rengar, that tells you everything you need to know about the state of the game. 100 Thieves finally find their fight. They take the kills. They're going to get the Baron here, and this should be everything that they need to close out this game.
Well, we got to see the Blitzcrank ulti used to pop the set shield. If it wasn't for that, Damonte wouldn't have even died here. But man, as soon as Aphromoo misses that hook, it's 100 Thieves saying, all right, let's go.
Yep, DeMonte straight in, looking to dunk Fake God on top of Neo. Both the flashes come out in retreat. Fake God, tanky as he is, it is not enough. And then Closer, you called it out during the play-by-play. The stasis was great onto Saligo's ultimate. Most of the threats are gone here. And as you see, DeMonte going in, the shield ulted off as soon as he pops that W, so they are able to finish him off. Dardoch just in full retreat, though. A 4-level disadvantage here. Some fancy feet from Dardoch, allowing him to avoid a lot of those Qs, to be honest, but it just doesn't matter. You're getting smacked by the wallet at this point of the game.
Yeah, the 125 CS difference just means that there's no way. It doesn't matter how well you play it. You're going to be dead as soon as he hits anything.
5 levels.
4,600 damage. 4,600 in the last team fight. Now, Neo did a pretty good job here on the Kai'Sa, hitting 2,800, second highest of anybody on the map in that team fight, but it's just too little, too late. 12,000 gold difference, 100 Thieves pushing towards the enemy base here, looking to crack this one open and end off of this Baron play. We're already almost up to 30 minutes into the game, so you would expect them to be able to end this one here. DeMonte is your split pusher this time around, pushing down mid lane, taking out that tier 3 turret already. Dardoch having to use his heal to restore some of the health here. Seismic Shove does not find Afromu, so the Blitzcrank threat remains, but a nice usage of the Weaver's Wall keeps Dignitas all the way away, guarantees that 100 Thieves gets their second inhibitor turret of the game, and now they're just putting the shots into both inhibitors at the same time. Rotating the whole squad over. Yes, that's a pull onto DeMonte, a whole lot of damage coming down onto him, having to flash back out to stay alive, but alive he is, and he will be able to regenerate now. Baron minions doing their work, pushing towards the Nexus. Inhibitors have fallen in mid and in bottom. 100 Thieves rotating themselves over to the last remaining lane. DeMonte's teleporting back to join up. They are going for the 3 inhib strat, my friend.
They still got a minute on that Baron buff, so I think they have a really good chance of getting it. We'll see if Dignitas want to make their stand, go for one final fight. But I'm so curious if Closer has set some records here as far as gold per minute, experience per minute, because I cannot remember a jungle game in the LCS where a jungler has been this late in the game still above 10 CS per minute. Now, this is insane. He's closing in on level 18. He's got 294 CS, and we're 29 minutes in.
Well, let's see if he gets to pop off a little bit harder here, because we are staring down the barrel of a game-ending fight. DeMonte going in here on the front line, popping a haymaker, but once again, in a bad spot thanks to Afromu's ulti, using the stasis to stay alive. That Rengar does negative damage. He stabbed him, and the dude got healed. DeMonte walks it off. 100 Thieves walks it in, and Dignitas ain't walking nowhere when the Weaver's Wall shows up behind him. Who he leads the charge. Dignitas is running all the way away with Neo down and FBI grabbing a kill. Surely the game is over now. Nice pull coming out from Afromu, but an ace for 100 Thieves says goodnight to Dignitas. And man, this game was just theirs to play from start to finish. They'll take them down and end week 1 3-0.
Bud Light ace to end it, 3-0 weekend. How sweet it is for the 100 Thieves. As you said, a 30-minute game there. After the average game time of almost 48 minutes, they really picked up the pace in this one. Controlled it start to finish. Looking pretty happy about how things went for them. Getting a little bit of a dance.
Closer, throw it off the headset, hands in the air, hugs DeMonte, who does a dance. This is, this is a camaraderie right
celebrating with the chair now. You love to see it. 100 Thieves having some fun there. Well-deserved win from them. Dignitas, again, going with some pretty cool picks, trying out some different stuff. It just never really came together. They just seem to get outlaned, right? You know, to be honest with you, it's tough when your first ultimate is coming down here for Dardoch and it already feels like you're at such a deficit. 100 Thieves created such large advantages in both top and bot purely through uninterrupted laning. And that's some of the strength that this team has. You have one of the best laning top laners in the league, and someday you have one of the best laning duos here in the bot side with FBI and Hui, and that's what makes them so damn difficult to deal with, because Closer didn't necessarily have to influence these lanes to create those advantages. He was just power farming, and as Dardoch went and tried to start making some plays, he was just falling further and further behind as Closer naturally got ahead.
And I'm still so excited about this 100 Thieves team because the thing that I was looking forward to the most after seeing this roster get announced, I saw that a lot of people were looking at the roster and they thought that DeMonte was the weakest piece of the 5, but DeMonte is so good at not needing to be the star of the show. We have all the Tanner time memes and all these crazy things whenever he pops off, but he doesn't need to. If you remember the champions that really got him to that spot where he earned the Tanner time, it was Galio, it was Kiana, it was these champs that can roam around and set the rest of the team up for success. And now on set, he can give all his farm away to his jungler to hard carry the game. DeMonte just knows how to enable the guys around him to succeed with flying colors. And I love seeing it, man. He's got that enabling capability that he can do whatever he's got to do for the dub. 100 Thieves deserve the win here. We're going to head to one last break now, but after that, we're going to hear from Riv and 100 Thieves FBI. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the LCS and the Verizon post-game interview. I am joined by 100 Thieves FBI after their victory. Feeling good, 3-0 on week 1. FBI, what are your thoughts? How you feeling? You just got to have a smile under that mask.
Yeah, after that game, I'm pretty happy with that game. I think we played pretty well, but honestly speaking, our 2 games before this one weren't very clean, and they could have easily gone either way. So it's like kind of bittersweet. Obviously happy to be 3-0, but we all understand that we could easily be 1-2.
Absolutely, and let's talk a little bit to that as you bring it up. What kind of was repaired from those 2 games to make this 3rd game feel so clean? What were you able to go over with the team?
Well, I don't think we really changed too much, but honestly, I think we were just way too proactive in the plays we were looking for early. So the main idea was to just like slow it down a bit and kind of check stuff before we randomly in dive. So yeah, I think we touched up on that and we played better today.
Not as much inting, more diving, more success. The payoff is perfect. Azael touched on it in game. You went Kraken Slayer Rageblade on the Senna instead of lethality. Preference, what you were playing against was the purpose. What's the reason behind that?
Well, I personally think that Kraken and Rageblade is just a lot better, but it's obviously more expensive to buy. Also, attack speed on Senna is just way more fun than lethality, so I'm playing for fun, I guess.
Absolutely. It seemed like you guys were having a lot of fun that game. Looking towards next week, but also the other 3-0 team in the league and Cloud9. As you were saying, your games were a bit shaky before. How do you think you two compare at this point? And maybe have you been recent scrim partners?
Yeah, I mean, I think CNI has looked really strong so far in the LCS, but I know we're a better team than them, and we really want to get revenge for the play-ins, the lock-in. So hopefully we can do that next week.
Awesome. Also, one more on that. For the C9 win or loss, are you preparing to celebrate with Closer, but also stop him from beating up the couch if you lose?
No one can stop Closer from beating up the couch after a loss.
Well, as we go back to Stay From Analyst Desk, FBI, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And best of luck in the rest of the season.
So great to hear from FBI there. Welcome everyone to the Bud Light Breakdown. Playing for fun, I guess, is what he says. And woo! I think 100 Thieves fans have to be feeling pretty good about a tighter game this time around. And things were really rocking in the top lane, Kobe.
They were rocking in the top lane. Let's get right to it because there was another tower dive here. We started the day talking about 100 Thieves tower dives. We get another one. This one is good despite Fake God outplaying pretty well and getting a counter kill. He's able to get the knockback here to split them. Then he saves his body slam for the re-engage after they draw tower aggro again. So he gets his counter kill and you're thinking, okay, they lose out on the minions mid because Demonte left, but they made a really good call on the side of 100 Thieves. You just heard FBI talking about being more precise and putting more thought into their tower dives and moves. They rotated Closer up. He picked up all that mid farm, which slingshot him way ahead of Dardoch, a huge CS lead. Then he uses Rift Herald on top side to further compound the damage that they just dealt to Fake God. And that literally, those two plays that focus on top side, just blew up the game from a 800 gold lead to 4,000 gold lead and 2 top towers down.
Yeah, and I just love seeing Demonte continue to pull out new champions that are going to play the game that he wants to play, which is get into side lanes, affect them, and especially be a facilitator, which is a lot easier done on tanking champions. So, you know, having the set with TP and kind of playing that and being like, all right, Closer, you're the AP carry on this comp anyways, because it was all physical damage aside for him, really. So there you go. Take my mid farm and get even further ahead of Dardoch, who had a little oopsie that Cabiflower tried to glaze over.
He was waiting on Smite cooldown. I saw it ticking down. He had no vision, walked into the bush. Yeah,
you know,
he did.
Sometimes it be like that, man. But yeah, to talk about the dive a little bit, one of the things I love that FBI said in the interview is that he feels like the team was getting a little bit routine with the dive and they got a little lazy with how they coordinate it. So that's one of the things that we mentioned at the beginning of the countdown. Like, a lot of teams are getting sloppy dives, so it's really nice to see 100 Thieves start to correct it. Even if it didn't work out, the execution was on point.
Yeah, and on the side of 100 Thieves, that's what you're looking at, this top contending team, wanting to see them clean things up when going against some of the other top contenders in this league. Primal, I do want to get your opinion a bit more on the Dignitas side, maybe some of the good things that we saw from the jungle position.
Yeah, so I'm of mixed feelings about this. I mean, at what point is a champion ocean too deep? Dardoch has actually played a different champion in every single game, including the lock-in up to this point. But I don't think Rengar was it this game. Not only is the champ not particularly meta right now, it's actually a really difficult matchup to play into. Right? You have a Tahm Kench denying you, catfishing you every time you try to go in a team fight. So it leaves basically Talia available for you to kill. We had a really smart pick from Demonte in picking a tankier mid and picking Set. So we saw him fall really behind early to mid game and then not be able to affect anything later in the game. So it kind of begs the question, what was the point of the Rengar pick?
That is a good question. And I mean, Dignitas in total, they had some other picks that they brought through that were a bit more in line with what we have seen in the past. Kobe, if we're looking over at 100 Thieves, though, just kind of overall thoughts for the fans taking this digestion of having a quicker game compared to the longer ones before, things that you're looking forward to from their performances in the coming weeks.
I think 100 Thieves fans are loving it because as rocky as the first 2 games were, you get the W's and there's enough shock there to the team to know they need to refocus, and they're talking about it in their interviews, and they're looking. It's like you get both sides. You get the team motivated and trying to learn a lot because they need to improve and they made some mistakes, but you still got the W's on your record. So honestly, I really am happy about this new 100 Thieves look. This is much better than we've seen from this organization in a long time, basically since franchising and since they joined. So I think 100 Thieves fans are ecstatic.
Yeah, they're obviously having a lot of fun too. You saw them after the game ended, like kind of like half tackling, half hugging, and then FBI talking about playing for fun. So not only are they learning and they're getting the W's, but no one seems tilted at each other yet either. So that's always what you want to see.
Yeah.
A different tone from what we were left with from 100 Thieves at the end of the last season, now going in with bright eyes for 2021. This does mark the end of our Week 1 games, though. So with that Week 1 complete, let's take a look at how these teams are stacking up. As 100 Thieves and Cloud9, they do finish at the top here, both undefeated after 3 games. And Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid share that second place spot, and ultimately it was CLG falling today, exiting the week windless. They'll get a shot at redemption next week against Team Liquid. It's a tough matchup, but hey, maybe give Immortals a call based off of their first performance if you ignored today for some pointers. And then Evil Geniuses face off against Cloud9 in Game 3, followed by TSM and Golden Guardians after that. Lots more matches to come. Another full Friday. Mark, any of these matches popping out in your brain?
I think the rematch for EG versus C9, at least for me, is the one that I'm most interested in because that was the first game that Cloud9 played at lock-in. They lost to EG. It was a bit of a shock to a lot of people with how they looked. I think since then, C9 looks phenomenal, and so I bet they're hungry for revenge and getting some payback for how they kind of embarrassed them on the first go-around.
Embarrassment, harsh words. I know we're all looking forward to all of those matches, though, and that is going to do it for us here on the desk. Thank you, Primal, Mark Z, and Kobe for all of the good times today. We've got one more piece of business to take care of, though, as we close out the weekend. Let's hand it back to the casters to award the MasterCard Player of the Week.
Thank you, Latigris. We are back here for that one final accolade. Now, this week, we've had some fast games. We've had some slow games. We've had some close games. We've had some stompy games. All in all, we have had a hell of a lot of games. That's what happens when you play 15 instead of 10. The number goes up. But, hey, there's one team that came out looking real good here this weekend. Well, there was a couple. But Cloud9 is looking great, and Blabber is a big reason for that, leading the charge to victory here for this squad. And he is our MasterCard Player of the Week for Week 1.
So well deserved. I think that Cloud9 really did look like the best team out the gate in the regular season, despite the fact that Team Liquid bested them in the lock-in. Cloud9 was looking amazing coming out the gates here. Blabber was crushing it, so incredibly active. And it was so interesting because in all 3 games, they actually fought against a flashless top laner, Ignite Camille, against Cloud9 all 3 times. And all 3 times, Blabber made it look comically easy to punish. He was up there at level 2. He was up there at level 3, 4, 5, you name it. He was up there, and he was killing them off left, right, and center. Blabber was crushing through these games, and the 80% KP, 16.7 KDA, pretty ridiculous.
He is setting a hell of a bar to win this accolade in the weeks to come. But now, that's it. Here for week number 1. It is all said and done. We will see y'all here again back next week. Don't forget to tune into the Bud Light League Lounge here, though, in just a few minutes, where Perks, yes, the actual mid laner, not the woman from Twitter, is joining Latigris, Dash, and Kobe. So be sure to stick around for some good vibes and best buds. Now, on behalf of myself, the casters, the analysts, the entire remote broadcast crew, Isaac himself, and I hope I'm pointing in the right direction. Thank you all for watching us here today. We'll see you back next week for more LCS.